80% of the leads we see from a full arch perspective are people that have already gotten to the price phase before they even contact our clients. It's straight negotiation, and that's good because it's a truncated version of a new patient consultation. Much different than a complex restorative case where the doctor needs to look at the patient, or complex occlusal case, doctor needs to look at the patient, figure it out, work the case up. It takes longer, but that's why not all leads are the same, and that's why not all cases are the same.
And that's why scheduling your full arch, no matter what, in the quickest amount of time is key, right? They've done studies. A DSO in California did a study last year. They said for every day you book them out, your show rate goes down by 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And you have them out 2 weeks, they're not going to show up. Right? They're going to go
No,
somewhere else.
of course.
They're just not going to show up. I'm like, we have Monday at 2 o'clock or Tuesday at 9 o'clock available. Grant them the power, grant them the autonomy, and tell them that we want to see you, we want to fix your health, we want to improve and we want to make it affordable. So price shoppers is a big area of dental patients who will call, especially for a $50,000, $40,000 case. People are gonna be price conscious, right? And being able to have those right conversations on the phone, which is the first interaction, is something we look at a lot, and we're seeing about 20-25% of these calls. Scheduling is number one, but price shopping is number two, because they're trying to figure out, how much does it cost?
Right.
And knowing what to say at that time is going to make or break the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you coach and teach on this at the treatment plan coordinator level at the office, but on the phone it's super important too, because if they feel that there's no way in hell I'm going to pay $50,000, right? Then that's it. You've lost the patient. Versus your competitor saying, by the way, we have many patients who call us with this problem. We have multiple options to suit your needs. We work with several financing companies. We can make this very affordable. We want you to come in and see our doctors because we do such incredible work. We're going to make this affordable. We want you to come in. And one of the things we focus on, Bart, a lot, especially with the big cases, is let's get the patient into your office. And once they come in, hopefully you have an amazing patient experience laid out for them. Welcome coffee, smells not like dentistry, all that stuff, right? You have this whole patient journey mapped out in the office. But if they don't come in, and because you're not scheduling them, or they think it's just absolutely out of their reach, it's really important for us to make sure that we are delivering the affordability message, regardless of what we think our preconceived notions are about whether the patient can afford it or not.
If I owned a dental practice and that practice was advertising for full arch implants, and I could only train whoever's answering the phone on one thing, it would be how to handle price shoppers. If I could only train them on one thing, it would be how to handle the patient calls in and says, "Hey, how you doing? Listen, I was just looking on your website. Hey, how much you guys charge for that all-on-4 procedure? How much you charge for dental implants? How much you charge for all-on-4? Just that right there." Because that's, I mean, geez, if I had a nickel for every time that was said, and it's basically handled one of two ways, universally, right? The first being explaining to the patient why we can't give them a price, why they need to come in, right? Basically just saying, no, we need to see you in and blah, 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 blah. You see the doctor and then we'll figure it out. That's number one. That doesn't work. Number two is quoting them. Right, which is another bad idea, because you don't have any, you have no knowledge of how to frame the price for that particular patient. You just have no idea. So quoting is bad, and not quoting is bad, right? So that's one of the big things that we train at the Closing Institute are very simple concepts that you guys will learn. Some of you guys on the webinar that have been there, you already know, but some of you that might attend in the future, you'll get a chance to learn that. Right. And I think a very, very easy way, just to give you a little bonus content here before we get into the actual artificial intelligence. Someone says how much do you want to pay, or if they say how much you charge them for full arch, what do we want to know, right? As somebody answering the phone, I want to know, well, what do you want to pay? That's what I want to know, right? So we have to have a couple different options, right? So you can say, well, listen, I can get you that information. And just so you know, when it comes to full arch, I know a lot of places that you call, they may have one way of doing it.
Sure.
And they have one way, and that's all on four, and they give you one price, and it sounds nice and simple and easy.
Right.
But all on four is just one way of doing full arch implants.
Right.
We have several different options of doing full arch dental implants at different budgets with different pros and cons. So I want to get you a price, but it kind of sounds to me like you may have a dollar amount in your head that you're trying to stay within here, right?
Right.
So, instead of going through the whole dog and pony show, why don't you tell me what you're looking to spend on full arch implants, and then I can kind of back into whichever treatment is closest to that price point, if that makes sense.
Right.
What are you looking to stay within? 25, 15, 20? Just kind of ballpark it for me, because we've got, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like you're going to be a great candidate for any of the full arch options we have. Right? It's just a matter of what you want to pay and me matching it up. A lot of people only have one, but we've got several. So where are you trying to be? They ask me how much it is, I'm going to get a number from them. That's how a negotiation works, right? That's how a negotiation works. They want to know how much it is, and I want to know how much they want to pay.
Correct.
And I know when they give me a number, that number is going to be low, and I'm going to negotiate up on it, at least 50%, right? And they think, now this isn't reality, but they think whatever number I give them is high, right? But they view that as a starting point in negotiation too. There's a very, very simple way to handle price shoppers that everybody botches and can give you a huge, huge, huge competitive advantage in the marketplace.
It's so true. And we see that, right? We have data. We have data on how many people just don't move forward with because they just don't feel comfortable on what it's going to cost them, and they feel so unbelievably frustrated that they cannot afford this price. And what Bart said is absolutely correct, is that it's really not about, because if they have called you after looking at an ad, they're not looking to spend $500 to get a full, or $1,000. And if they are, then obviously that's not the patient you triage out of the process, and you say, I'm sorry, this is where we start, but at least you know the level of interest they have, and it's really important to understand that. But one of the big things we talk about is the journey of a patient, right? A patient has a need, and obviously what you guys do at Progressive is that it's marketing. That's great, right? But what are you in the business of? And what Progressive helps you with is really creating that need the patient may not even have, right? So creating that need. So we've created this need through this amazing marketing campaign, ad, video, TV spot, whatever it is. You've created the need, and that need now needs to be translated into dollars, right? But you have to make sure that every interaction with the patient, whether it's online, offline, on the phone, with the person, is truly optimizing and removing all the barriers to entry. And scheduling is a big barrier to entry. Pricing is absolutely huge. The two main reasons why dental patients do not book appointments is they're concerned with price, and they're fearful of if it's going to hurt them or it's going to be. People are still afraid of going to the dentist, and especially this for large.
Yeah, I don't know if they're more afraid that it's going to hurt their wallet or their mouth at these days, right?
Both sides, right?
So the anxiety, like let's market to high anxiety patients. Oh, you're talking about price shoppers, then, right?
Yeah.
Because they got a hell of a lot of anxiety regarding
I'm going to pay
the price
$50,000 to drill holes in my tooth. I'm sorry, I am not coming in. Instead, you flip the narrative into what they want and their needs are, and meeting them where they're at. Not every patient you're going to meet where they're at. They're at 5,000 or 10,000. You're not going to meet them, but that's okay because you've triaged them out of the process. But understanding these metrics, and we talk about optics a lot, right? We talk about optics a lot. One of the things we do in our Patient Prism dashboards is provide a live dashboard of what's happening with the leads. Right? How many new opportunities are coming in? And the way we determine new opportunities is entirely by a robot that look and listens to conversations and says, there's a 90% probability that this is a new patient. So
That's crazy. We got robots.
We got a robot.
Listening to conversations.
That's correct. We have robots.
So hold on. I got a robot.
Yeah.
Listening to my conversation.
Correct.
Telling me how to conversate better.
Correct. Correct. Because a robot's going to look at the conversational nuance and say, right, you know what, based on this, because here's the thing, right? There's tons of phone calls coming into your office every day. and you don't know which ones you need to focus on. The ones you need to focus on are the leads that did not convert. And how do you know they were leads in the first place? So the robot goes through what we call classification models, which understands who is this caller? Is this a lead or not a lead? And if it's a lead, not a lead. And if it's a lead, did they schedule an appointment or did they not schedule an appointment? And that's really important to know on a dashboard that's live, right? So one of the things you'll see with Patient Prism is you see a live dashboard of how many new opportunities came in, how many booked, how many didn't book. Obviously, if some existing patients came in, our robot will be able to tell them. If some existing patient call, hey, I need an adjustment or whatever it is, or I have pain, where the robot's going to say, all right, well, this is an existing opportunity. We don't need to worry about it. This is not a lead, and we just need to, we'll tell you if you booked them or not. But you also get some junk calls, and the robot will say, oh my God, there's some vendor called, and the robot's going to pull that call out and only give you, one of the things you talked about earlier was actionable, right? What AI allows us to do is really surface up all the actionable stuff. Mm-hmm. We want to only surface to you intelligence that matters. And the intelligence that matters is the people you didn't close.
Yeah.
Right? And so on this dashboard that you see number of leads coming in, new opportunities, existing are not really leads, but we're scheduling them. We see all the number of calls that have come in. We also have this unweighted category of calls, which is if it was somebody junk, right, calling you that absolutely had nothing to do, they pretended to be a new patient, but they were not. We're going to move them out of the system and only surface to you the opportunities that need to be looked at, and also give you a dollar value based on what you charge of what are the leads that you've converted. And this office converted almost $544,000 that month. I mean, this happens with your clients all the time. You're bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars of business every month, these guys, sometimes even more. But knowing that it hurts, right? When I see I lost $187,000, it hurts. If you don't know it, it's in oblivion, right? So it's really important for us, what we did when we developed Patient Prism, is to quantify the value of the lead. First of all, qualify as a lead or not lead. Second, quantify and say, okay, this is the value. Because when it hurts really bad when I lost $15,000, $40,000 case because I didn't have something on the schedule.
Right.
So super important to have a metrics dashboard. The call performance thing where you say 1,130 calls there, you see 108 not connected. Means those are the people that didn't get answered.
Right.
Went to voicemail. 108 people went to voicemail, even if 10 of them were good leads, 10 of them. Right? And even if out of the 10, only 5 of them closed, that's a big number. And you guys know what the number is. Even if it's 2, that could be $100,000.
Well, guys, and what's really, really cool about this, and this is why I like for our clients to be on it, is because when you look at something like this, you're going, yeah, okay, new opportunities existing, call performance, okay, I've kind of seen this stuff before, but I can take this $187,000 apart, and the AI tells us, okay, out of these opportunities lost, why? Right? Oh, this was for scheduling. This is for price shoppers. And we can start to see trends and patterns, and we can coach from it, and we can learn from it, and everybody can get better and better and better and much more efficient. So it's not just having the statistics, it's having those drill down statistics in the areas that matter most, whereas the receptionist can actually do something about it.
And I'll show you if you click on the next slide. We actually have one of the big things we look at is insights into, number one, in the top you see there's the red bars, and those are the leads or the calls that we missed during business hours. So you know what kind of staffing you need, right? If the red bars show up all day long, you're just understaffed. If the red bars all show up at lunch, you mean your entire staff goes to lunch at the same time. It's great for culture and everything, but we can't be missing, because that's the only time patients have to call you guys, right? So you have to really figure out from data, if this data doesn't lead you into some sort of an action, then it's useless, right? One of the things we focus at Patient Prism is the importance of getting that data and understanding some level of insight to it, because data by itself is hindsight. Okay, what happened? But why did it happen? Because we just didn't have enough people We just didn't have enough people to answer the calls. Or we went all to lunch at the same time. Or we forgot to turn on the answering machine until 9 o'clock every morning because we have busy things to do in the morning when we come in at 8 o'clock, right? We're not even turning it on because, all right, well, and that's the only time people are calling us because that's when they're commuting to work.
How does this quote-unquote robot work? I mean, how are they're listening to conversations.
Right.
I mean, there's conversations that I've heard
Yeah.
specifically from leads in southern Louisiana. I can't even tell what the hell they're saying. How does the robot understand, first off, what they're saying, and how does it dissect it to actually give us feedback on how the call was handled?
If I were to tell you a simple, I mean, when we started this journey,
Make it real simple.
when I started this journey, when I started Patient Prism, despite my Indian background, I don't have a bone of technology in me, right? All my Indian friends are very happy at me right now because finally they accepted me into the community because I'm a tech guy now. But I'm not, right? I'm not. I'm a CPA, I'm a finance guy, I run a hedge fund. I love math. And one of the things when we realized at the time I owned a few dental practices and we're driving all these leads in and they were not closing. And then we listened to those calls and we realized that, man, we were messing up on the phone. And we were it took us a long time. See, call tracking and call recording has been around for many, many years. For the last 20 years, you've heard this call may be recorded for quality control and training purposes. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, recording is not the solutions. Who's going to listen to the calls, right? You barely have time to answer the call. You think you're going to
Exactly.
the day is going to get over. Your office manager's going to go home and they're going to listen to all these calls for hours together. Nobody has time. So the question I asked at the time was that could we teach Alexa dentistry? That was the question we asked, right? And I had no idea at the time. I was just like a complete naive. Could we understand? And then we dig deeper into it and we understood the idea of natural language processing, the same technology that powers Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa. Same technology. What we've done is a robot, what it does, it looks at a conversation, it converts that into text, and then it analyzes a conversation. If you built the models, it'll look at all the conversations where people from Louisiana and how they talk, right? And what they say to certain things. People say, oh, I got to hold my tooth. Okay, well, some people in Louisiana might say that, right?
Right.
I got to hold my tooth. Well, that's not what people in New York say.
Right.
Right? And so it looks at this stuff at a speed and processing ability that humans cannot even fathom. And then it groups them into categories of, okay, well, if somebody says, I have a hole in my mouth, or I ain't got no teeth, well, okay, well, I ain't got no teeth means they might be a candidate for dentures or a full arch, right? So it without us even understanding fully how AI works, it groups these things in a way, and it combines that intelligence and says, okay, this must be a guy that needs this, right? And eventually it makes assumptions and patterns. It recognizes patterns over a period of time. Well, it has heard enough conversations over a period of time from all accents and all walks of life, and it's realized how to classify that.
So it's machine learning. It gets smarter and smarter and more accurate.